السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. النهاردة إن شاء الله إحنا بنلتقي علشان نعرف شوية حاجات عن البيزنس والبيزنس ستاديز في الاي جي. أنا بفضل فيها كامبريدج. قبل ما نتكلم على المنهج وقبل ما نتكلم على الدراسة خلوني أعرفكم الأول بنفسي. أنا اسمي أحمد عبد الرزاق سلامة. أنا دكتور في البيزنس ايكونومكس، بدرس بيزنس بدرس ايكونومكس، بدرس في الجامعة، وليا خبرة طويلة في المالتي ناشونالز. أنا اشتغلت تقريبا أكتر من 25 سنة في المالتي ناشونالز، وأنا أخذت الدكتوراه سنة 1990 ودرست في جامعة القاهرة، درست في جامعة عين شمس، درست في البي يو اي، درست في معظم الجامعات اللي موجودة في مصر، والحمد لله يعني ليا طلبة وزملاء كتير. إن شاء الله نشوفكم من الزملاء ومن الطلبة اللي احتلوا مناصب كويسة ومراكز مرموقة، وإن شاء الله نفرح بيكم. تعالوا نتعرف على المنهج بتاع البيزنس. في الحقيقة قبل ما نتعرف على المنهج بتاع البيزنس خلونا الأول نقول definition صغير للبيزنس، علشان من الديفينيشن ده هنقدر إن احنا نكمل كلامنا ونقدر نعرف التفاصيل اللي احنا هندرسها بعد كده. فدايما احنا بنقول الديفينيشن البسيط بتاعنا، بنقول ان البيزنس it's a process of producing goods and services to satisfy consumer demand. From this definition, we will get to know that the purpose of the business activity is to provide consumers. Who are consumers? Consumers are me and you. Okay, they are going to provide what? They are going to provide goods and services that meet our needs and wants. And we will get to know the difference between the needs and wants. So the first chapter, of course, will include some definitions about understanding the meaning of the business activity and the purpose of the business activity, and we will explore together the different aspects of this definition. In the second chapter, we will try to study the classification of the business, how to classify the business. Are we going to classify it? Depends on size. Are we going to classify the business depending on the capital employed or the number of employees, or all together? We will know how to classify the business. In the third chapter, we will study the enterprise, the business organization, the growth of the business organization, and the size of the business organization. In the fourth chapter, we will see the different types of business organizations. And in the fifth chapter, we will study the business objectives and the stakeholder objectives. Who are the stakeholders? Stakeholders are anybody who has interest in the business. These 5 chapters will be included in the first section. So how many sections are we going to study? We're going to study 6 sections and 26 chapters. And as you can see, I'm not going to give you notes, but I'm going to give you a book. And we will depend on the Cambridge book. Notes are not reliable. Why? Because notes are not approved by Cambridge. Therefore, I will use the Cambridge syllabus and the Cambridge books. Okay. What about the other sections? The other sections, the second section, we will study together what do people do in business? How can we motivate workers? How can we organize and manage the business? How can we recruit and select and train as well our workers? And the different types of communication within the organization, and then we will call this internal communication and external communication with people outside the business organization. This is 4 chapters we are going to study together in section 2. What about section 3? Section 3 is concerned with marketing. And the marketing, we will define the marketing process, and we will define the different types of competition and how can we satisfy the consumer. Okay, if I have a product and the product from my point of view is super and I'm willing to sell it in the market, is that enough? No, it is not enough. I have to conduct what we call market research. In this market research, we will get to know the response of the customers. Are they going to buy the product or not? And we have different types of market research. The market research with its different types, we will study in chapter 11. And marketing is a definition composed of 4 main elements. The 4 main elements are the product, the price, the place, and how to promote the product. And as you can see, product, price, place, promotion, all starts with the letter P. We call these 4 functions the 4 P's of the marketing. Afterwards, we will get to know the marketing strategy. How can we put a strategy for the marketing, and how can we apply this strategy to achieve our goals? And when we say strategy, that means it is a long-term plan. A long-term plan that would involve short-term plans for different stages until we get to reach the ultimate goal or the ultimate objective for the organization. By this, we will finish the third section. What about the fourth section? The fourth section will be concerned with the operations management, how to operate the business. And in this section, we will study the production of goods and services, the costs involved in this production, and the scale of production, and when can we break even. And when we say break even, means that we will not make money and we will not lose money. This is the point where we don't lose, don't gain. But is this a good point or a bad point? Well, we have to reach this point and exceed it in order to make profit. So we will show you how to make a break-even analysis. In the 17th chapter, we will talk about the quality of the production and how it can affect the product and the consumer and the demand of the consumer and the survival of the organization. Because quality, of course, what do you want as a customer? You want top quality with reasonable price and good customer service. That's what we need all. But how can a business organization achieve this equation? How can they perform the quality control and the quality inspection the total quality management in order to achieve the business objectives? Of course, the quality, we have to maintain high quality, and to maintain high quality, we have what we call quality control, which is at the end of the line when the product is a finished product, and we have in-process quality checks to make sure that the product is always matching the quality standards. We have to inspect at each and every stage. Afterwards, we will have to consider the location decisions, because location of the business will affect the operations. Like if you have a factory in a remote place, that means you will have to arrange some transportation for your workers. Or you might have to transport the raw materials from different areas to the plant or to the factory. So we have to make rational decisions when it comes to the choice of the location. By this chapter, in chapter 18, we will finish the section 4. We will have two more sections. Section 5 will be concerned with the financial information and decisions. How to finance the business, why do we need finance, and what are the different resources to get the required finance. We have to know how to manage the cash flow and how can we forecast the cash flow and the working capital. We will get to know the income statements and the balance sheets. And for the income statement and balance sheets, you will not be required to draw a balance sheet or to draw an income statement or to feed both of them with numbers. No, actually, we will be required to analyze the balance sheet and the income statement in order to check if the organization is a healthy organization that would be able to achieve its goals, or they have problems. And we will study how to manage the financial situation in order to get to the safe shore, I would say. And by this chapter, we will get to the sixth section. And this section will be concerned with the external influences on a business activity. Of course, any business has external influences from the government, from the surrounding environment. We have different environmental and ethical issues that has to be considered. That have to be considered when we are making any industrial decision. So we have to consider the effect on the surrounding community and on the soil and on the air and on the people around us and on the water. So we have to consider the whole environment. The last chapter will be concerned with the business and the international economy. We will get to know the exchange rate and how it will affect the export and import, and we will get to know the interest rate and how can it affect the growth of the business, or sometimes it will affect some businesses to go out of the market. So we will study this situations, the different situations. By the end of each chapter, you will have some activities and some questions to answer, just to make sure that we were able to understand and solve the problems by the end of each and every chapter. By the end of each section, we will have an exam style case study that would be an exercise to cover 4 to 5 chapters and to make sure that you are able to solve easily all the different questions for that section. Okay, what are we going to do? We will answer all the end of chapter questions, some activities, and the exam style case studies. And these exercises will give us a very good base to work on paper one. And let me tell you about paper one and paper two. Of course, the business O level will be examined on two papers, and the first paper will contain 4 questions, and in each question of the 4, there is 5 sub-questions. The 5 sub-questions will be marked from A to E. Okay. This paper will take you 1, or Cambridge will give you 1.5 hours to answer. And you will have 80 marks for that paper. Okay. These questions mostly will be concerned with definitions, small short essay questions. So it's very easy for those who have good memory and they are able to learn by heart. But paper 2, it depends on your understanding. And you have to be creative, I would say. So it measures actually your critical thinking and your ability to solve problems. And this paper will be containing 4 questions. Each of them is divided into 2 sections, A and B. So total 8 sections and 80 marks. And again, you will have 1.5 hours to answer. So each paper, you will have 80 marks, total of 160 marks. And for each paper, you will have 1.5 hours, a total of 3 hours. Okay, let's talk about the curve. The business curve is not a high curve, so it's easy to achieve the A star. The A star means that you got around 115 out of 160, which is a little bit less than 75%. For A, you might get, let's say, 98 to 100. For the B, it's around 86 to 90. The range is 86 to 90. The C, I don't want to hear about it. because I'm not used to get one of my students to get a C. So I don't want to hear any C's. Okay, what does it take to study business? To study business, you have to have good English. Good English, that means you can at least have a level of A in English or B, to be able to express yourself and to be able to use your own language to solve critical thinking questions. What about the past papers? When are we going to solve the past papers? We will solve the past papers as soon as we finish our study. As soon as we finish our book, we will start solving past papers. Is that all? No. You will have by each and every chapter, by the end of each and every chapter, you will have around 20 questions, short essay questions to cover the whole chapter, in addition to those who are listed in the book. So if you want to get an A star, you have to be highly committed to your study, and we have to have a clear goal that we are going to get the A star no matter what, and we'll do whatever it takes to achieve what we want. Yes, I'm going to stress you throughout the course, but by the end of the course, when you get the A star, or at least your A, you will know why I was stressing you. And it is not, you're not going to be highly stressed, I would say, but yes, I'm going to give you some homeworks to work. And again, we have to consider that training for the business questions is a must, especially for paper one. Paper one, the more we solve from paper one, the more you will see the questions being repeated. And again, as you solve more of paper two, you will get to know different techniques to solve the problems. So it will enhance your capability to solve different problems, and you will have different ways to think about any problem. So it is going to be a real nice, challenging paper, which will take a lot of debate between us in order to explore different ways of thinking. Okay. What else do you need? Think about it. If you have any questions, if you have any concerns, please write to me or call Mr. Hassan or contact JTA to express your concerns or your questions, to ask your questions, and whatever you need, I'll be there to answer your questions. Thank you for your precious time, and I'm looking forward to see you all, guys. Good night. Assalamu alaikum.